Consult, a GCC-based HR consulting firm he founded in 2014. With over 33 years of international experience, he has held pivotal HR leadership roles across diverse industries, including oil and gas, FMCG, aviation, and mining. Notably, he served as the Global Chief HR Officer for MB Petroleum Services, overseeing operations across 22 countries. His expertise lies in strategic HR consulting, talent development, and HR technology solutions. Under his leadership, Rap Consult has become synonymous with human capital excellence and innovation in the Middle East. Please welcome Mr. Venkatesh Palakkad.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this very interesting session on reimagining HR in the AI era. For the last 9 years in this summit, we have been regularly speaking on new trends in HR, key areas where a lot of changes are happening, and it's been a very important thought leadership session. And today I thought it'll be good to start the session with something which we spoke in the same conference 5, 6 years ago. So it's also a reality check on, are we really predicting what's happening, or is it just more of an academic discussion? So I thought we will just rewind to 2019 when we presented in the same session. Yeah. And we basically said in one of the sessions that in the next 5 years, there will be a lot of AI in what we do. There will be robotics used in a lot of process automation. There'll be machine learning, chatbots, VR, etc. At the time, it was a lot of these terminologies was Latin and Greek for a lot of them. And even for us, it was more of a concept rather than something which was tested and practiced. But now when you really look back 6 years, we can see that a lot of these things which we spoke in 19 has actually happened. Yeah. And the COVID in 20 and 21 really ensured that these things were fast tracked with lots of organizations. In today's session, we are going to see on how practically is AI being used in HR and how it can be used in HR and how it is a myth that AI is very difficult, expensive, can't every company can't afford it. These are all myths, and we will see how we demystify it by saying that it's all available. Okay. Now, the first thing is, as I said, we will look at a journey of how HR has been over the last 10 years, manual paper based, and then we saw large systems like Oracle, SAP, ERP systems, and then came the cloud based systems, and then currently we are talking about chatbots and cloud based software as a service solutions, etc. And we are moving towards generative AI and fully driven immersive HR systems, which are completely intelligent, etc. And I am again saying that the next 5 years is going to witness a huge, massive change in terms of adoption of AI in all walks of life, in all areas, and especially HR. Yeah. And again, I wish in 2030, inshallah, if I'm around and we continue to be associated with this thing, we'll look back and see how much of what we say actually happened, right? Again, as I said, you don't have to really look for an AI solution. If you really see our day-to-day lives, right? AI is already embedded in what we're doing. One very important thing, I don't know how many of Viva? What is Viva? Viva is a health drink, primarily popular in India, that apart. Do you know Viva is a insight, AI-based insight, which is available to all of us through your Microsoft Outlook. Because email is one area where we all spend a lot of time. And email also gives the Outlook a lot of insights into your work habits, the way you interact with things, etc. So it gains a lot of intelligence. So if you use Microsoft Outlook, the MS360, right, you can enable this feature, right? I think there's a small cost, but it's a very small cost. There are a lot of organizations in Oman. In fact, one organization where we very closely worked with, the OQ group, has enabled this, and they have encouraged people to use Viva to give them insights on their email habits, right? Viva basically gives you information on how much of focus time you have on your work, how much time are you spending on meetings, is there work life balance for you, or are you constantly looking at your mails in the night, answering to mails, are you attending? So it tracks a lot of data for you because email is one, work email is one where we all regularly interact, and it gives you very candid insights to say how your work life balance is, what's happening, how much of time is being spent, etc. Another very interesting integration which is happening is with Microsoft acquiring LinkedIn. They have integrated Outlook and LinkedIn, right? So in the next 2 or 3 years, you will also be able to get a lot of insights on talent information of employees, which could be available through the Outlook interface for organizations. So that's something which they've slowly started doing. If you see your Outlook, if you're sending an email to somebody, you would see that their LinkedIn information is popping up. So already a base level integration has started, but I foresee a lot of work happening in that. And your email itself is going to be a great AI assistant to you as you go forward. The other one is if you use Teams, Zoom, etc., you've already seen that you have an AI note taker, you have an AI agenda preparer. There's a lot of these action item meeting highlights, a lot of these things can be automated now. So you can basically manage meetings, create a central repository of meetings, prepare action items, follow up reminders. All this is possible through these virtual meeting tools. Zoom, Teams, all of them have it. Again, AI is playing a very major role in it without really us knowing about it. The other one is, of course, if chat based agent, you have a lot of AI agents which we all speak about. Everybody says an AI agent is coming, etc. Nowadays, I think in the next 2 years, you will be able to configure your own AI agent based on whatever work you're doing and then connect it to your Chrome extension as a Chrome extension. So any work you do, any website you search, the AI agent will do its job in the background. So this is also a technology which is going to be very easily reachable to all of us and can be very easily used. The last one is, of course, ChatGPT, which all of us or similar platforms which all of us use, which basically is now bringing in a major change in terms of how regular routine work processes are automated, which is generative AI. Generative AI is something which is a AI based system which generates human like text, answers queries, drafts documents, creates content. A great example is ChatGPT. You also have Copilot, Gemini, etc. So this is a very easily accessible tool, inexpensive tool, which is going to be made available to a lot of us. So in the HR, automating JD creations, translating from English to Arabic, which we all struggle in our day-to-day lives, can be very easily done. Drafting HR policies. You want to very quickly draft an HR policy, you can use one of these generative AI tools, and I can tell you that it does a pretty good job as a first draft, right? And also a lot of automation of emails, a lot of automation of you want to announce something, you give the points, etc. But the only thing which staff need to be trained is on the prompts you use, because finally AI gives you feedback based on what you tell them to do, right? So the skill of writing nice, good, intelligent prompts is something which need to be developed as a competency, right? Now, there is also tools like HR specified tools like Lena AI today, which is available, which acts as a complete automation of your chatbots. So your entire HR services could be completely automated for all kinds of services what you need with tools like Lena AI, which is very easily available at a very small cost. And so this is one thing which is really going to pick up. I also thought I will give you a very quick thing on what can you do with ChatGPT, right? Or similar. When I say ChatGPT, I'm talking about similar solutions on what can you do, right? One is, as I said, you can automate again. You can organizations or HR departments using an agent can customize the use of ChatGPT so that it's regularized and it's formalized in organizations. Otherwise, everybody using ChatGPT could become a challenge. So, as organizations, I think it's time that we all look at policies of putting in place an AI agent and also putting in policies on on for what you can use it in an official setup. In our organization, we have institutionalized using these tools, and we allow employees to use it for their day-to-day work. In consulting, there's a lot of draft preparation, data conversion, preparation of PPTs. So we use generative AI extensively, and I can see how tremendously productivity has improved, and my team is able to focus really on the key aspects of data analysis, presentations, etc., rather than churning the wheel and creating an Excel into a PPT and stuff like that. From an HR operations point of view, automating employee queries, drafting HR documents, assisting in the recruitment is another great area where this AI tools can really do a great job, because the minute you put a JD and say that, okay, this is my JD and these are my 6 7 candidates and these are their standard CVs, and say that I compare the CVs to the JD with weightages, whatever weightage you want to give for factors. In seconds, it gives you a beautiful comparison. And again, this is all data based, right? If you are also looking at the CV, you would do the same thing. But that does it in a much more structured fashion and gives you a very official document which could be done. And we have seen in our own experience, because we also have a recruitment practice where a lot of this is almost 85 90% right, because finally we are looking at paper. Even if you are looking at paper, you would do the same thing. Again, the most important thing is how do you put the prompt? Okay, what do you put as a condition to do the shortlist? This is where again we need to train people. The other one is on training and development initiatives. There's a lot of work happening. I'll talk about it in detail in terms of merging skills and job roles together, and how AI can be used in marrying these two things together, and also demystifying a lot on working with competency frameworks and things like that is also something which is going to become easier, less cost effective with the use of generative AI. So that's a general example of how we could use generative AI. The other technology which is getting popular is machine learning. Again, machine learning is training a machine to understand data patterns and then training the machine to make predictions and decisions, routine decisions based on fixed data patterns. So again, this could be a use case in HR would be predict prediction of retention rates, talent pool analysis. Companies who follow succession planning strategies could do talent pool analysis, skill forecasting based on data, manpower planning based on data, etc. Things which could be used. Also, nowadays, a lot of interviews, the preliminary interviews in organizations are done by machines. In fact, my daughter attended an interview 2 days back, and it was a voice activated chat, a bot which did her interview. She said first time in her life she sat through an interview which was fully done by a machine, and she said she was very impressed. She said the machine was intuitive enough to understand what she was saying. It was picking up things which she was answering and then building questions on that. So it was very intuitive, right? So this is going to happen. So just imagine when you're doing very large hiring of workforces, if you want to say that from the time you advertise a job, you shortlist candidates, and you do the preliminary shortlist by asking 8 or 10 standard questions, and then based on weightage you give to the kind of answers, coming up with a 20 people shortlist, etc., is going to be a very easy process putting these bots in action. And in the back end, is what we would see is the machine learning. The machine intelligently learns this the more and more you do it with the system. So that is something which is again going to gain a lot of popularity. I'm sure that in areas of AI driven assessment tools, tutoring and feedback to candidates, skill gap analysis, even goal setting and alignment, the KPI setting process in an organization, the machine learning which works behind a lot of AI systems is going to tremendously change the way we work. Okay. The other very interesting, one of my most popular AI technologies is RPA, robotic process automation. Again, using machine learning, using a lot of other techniques, you completely automate something which a human sits and does, right? Because in organizations, there are certain people who pick up data from data A, data B, data C, data D, put them together, do a standard analysis, and based on that analysis, you take a decision, right? So this entire thing could be automated. For example, your entire payroll could be run by an agent, a payroll agent in the near future. You don't need manual intervention because payroll activities are all predictive activities, right? Mostly predictive activities, right? You can always put an exception and say that this could be escalated to a human, but 99.9% of the tasks can be done by an AI agent, right? Just imagine in companies with 6,000, 7,000, 10,000 people working, if an AI agent using an RPA fully runs your payroll process, including the final bank letter which goes to different companies for disbursement of salaries, it's a huge saving in terms of cost and also bringing efficiency. You may run your 10,000 people payroll in 15 minutes, okay? And this is something which I am seeing it happen. And also a lot of your routine documentation for labor clearances, your visas, preparation of letters and putting it into the ministry system, all this can be, and mind you, an RPA can also access your ROP portal, your some other portal, and I'm sure very soon you're going to get API integrations for doing these services with government portals also, so that you can also feed in data, and probably you may have somebody will have to quickly check once and do a manual authorization, right? So this is going to happen, right? So a lot of compliance data, feeding in data into government systems. Insurance is greatly adopting this in terms of even issuing offers for policies, because a lot of backend work can be done by RPA, right? RPA process. So this is also a great technology. Very strongly encourage people to look at this and see how much of this could be implemented. There are tools like Blue Prism and UiPath, which is available today, which allows you to very easily implement RPA as an organization. The other technology which is getting popular is computer vision, which is basically, in simple terms, creating a camera or a visual medium intelligent, right? So, what if cameras can think? In simple words, that's what computer vision is. So, wherever you have a visual interface, could be, you can also build in intelligence behind that. So, use cases in HR, monitoring for HSE compliances in organizations, okay? If you, the security camera which monitors employees is also intelligent enough to find HSE violations. Somebody is not wearing a safety boot, somebody is not wearing a helmet, somebody is smoking. If it picks it up and then immediately alerts the HSE guy and also put in a note in the HR guy's file to say that this guy did this violation. Oh, isn't it great? Yeah. And this technology is available, right? A lot of this. And also, so this is one use case. The other use case is in recruitments. In addition to psychometric assessments, etc., they've also bought in watching body language. Okay, a lot of, because what would a very specialized recruiter do is to also look at the nonverbal expressions of candidates and pick up a lot of information from that. And that's what I do. I've been interviewing for the last 35 years because that's my contribution when I sit in an interview panel. Now, the same thing is taught to a camera. And when somebody sits before the camera and does an interview, the camera is able to pick up these nonverbal cues and make inferences out of it. And it only strengthens your decisions in terms of recruitment by adding more information to your psychometrics or your other analysis, what you do. And all this is now again powered by computer vision, right? Again, the use cases, as I said, working on onboarding, looking at compliance monitoring, attendance monitoring via facial recognition, which is anyway happening, and stuff like that. Okay. So the other one is conversational AI, where you can use these, again, these are bots for doing work which goes in certain kind of sequence, right? So you can set up a bot for answering queries to your employees. You can teach the bot every possible options in your HR policy, HR manual, and then make the bot answer these questions. And again, these are not very expensive propositions. With a little bit of customization, a little bit of API integrations, you can make it available in your intranet. You can make it available in your mobile apps or any kind of interface what you have in your organizations. So you can say that all my leave applications, all my queries, all my HR related interactions can be done by a bot. Okay. Also, the advantage is if you want your bot to answer certain queries in Arabic, it's possible now. It's improving. The Arabic was not the best, but we can see that the quality of Arabic translations available is also tremendously improving, and you get fairly acceptable Arabic queries, Arabic replies, etc., coming out of bots. So this is one. The other one is, again, when you're scheduling interviews nowadays, There are WhatsApp integrations available. So you have to schedule interviews for, say, 25 people. You put the bot into operation to say that quickly WhatsApp all the 20 people, look at the schedules, look at the interviewer schedule, see who's available, who's not available, and quickly fix an interview schedule. So a lot is manual, right? I'm not available. I'm available at 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. All this is immediately processed by the bot, and it's able to prepare interview schedules very efficiently within very limited time. Again, these are fantastic use cases which can be put into place by using very simple AI tools in organizations. A very good, very advanced tool in terms of conversational AI, which is strongly embedded, is Eightfold AI, a very strong recruitment, talent acquisition tool, talent development tool. Check about it. They have done some phenomenal work in terms of putting AI in place. The other one is in the back end, there is a lot of AI powered talent intelligence collection which is happening in a lot of platforms. Platforms we represent in Oman called as Cornerstone. There's a lot of other platforms which works in the background. So for example, you can very easily connect your performance data to your KPI data, to your learning data, to your succession data, and make inferences out of it. So it's able to collect the big dots. So the dots, connect the dots and make some sense out of data available. And this is now possible, very much possible with talent intelligence and ability for very disparate systems to connect in the backend. So you may maintain some data in Excel, you may have something in your Oracle ERP, you may have a cloud-based solution doing something else, or you may have some data just available. So you're able to connect all this and make sense out of it. As I very clearly said, how do I connect my performance data and say that because of this performance areas, you need to improve in certain areas in terms of learning, and how do I improve it, and vice versa, right? So there are lots of data which can be used in HR decisions by putting AI in place. And AI powered talent intelligence is also something nowadays is coming built in within a lot of new generation HR systems. You could also buy it and plug it into your existing HR system. If you will take time to implement a new one, it's available nowadays. You can connect disparate data and take decisions. So this is on talent intelligence. The other one is another very interesting aspect of AI, which is AI is now also able to observe your emotions in an organization as an employee using various means. So it can analyze sentiments, it can observe sentiments, and then make inferences out of it. For example, many of us know engagement surveys, right? So engagement surveys is nothing but a sentiment analysis. What am I thinking about the organization? What are my feelings on the etc. And many organizations also do dipstick surveys. Dipstick is like something what we do, quick information on what's happening on a day-to-day basis. Are you happy today? Are you not happy today? Many organizations put this in their internal portals and collect information. Now, AI tools can very quickly analyze this sentiment, okay, by collecting data. You could also say that collect data using varied means. So they collect data and then say that, hey, this department doesn't seem to be very happy. There is something happening with this department. So they could give you very specific, very geographical insights on employees, data, managers, etc., using techniques which can be put in place. A lot of tools today use the sentiment analysis using emotion AI, and then based on that, they take decisions. So the question is AI a friend or a foe? I normally say that it's inevitable, it's going to happen, it's definitely going to happen. So how do we ensure that we do it in the right way? One is we call it as the H.E.A.R.T framework for implementation of AI. One is humanize what matters most. So preserving empathy, trust, and connection, people to people connection is very core in an organization, and that should not be compromised. Okay. So that's the H. And then we must eliminate routine, busy work. So freeing our people from repetitive tasks and enabling them to focus on tasks which are of strategic importance is another great shift which AI will allow you to do. Okay. Third is amplifying capabilities, right? You may have a limited capability, but you can use AI and amplify your capabilities, and AI can be used for, I can probably work at 130% of my efficiency, my original efficiency, if I smartly use an AI tool. And that is what we should, in a very systematic manner, try and implement in organizations so that it results in amplifying efficiencies of people. And the other one is redefining. So the other principle in H.E.A.R.T is redefine roles, don't replace them, right? So you can always redefine what somebody is doing and say that you will be doing this plus this with the use of an AI tool instead of saying, sorry, you're not required anymore. And the last one is the way transform interactions, right? So creating personalized, meaningful experiences for employees at every stage of the journey is something which very important. So whenever you do AI implementations in organizations, it's good to keep this hard framework in mind so that we always ensure that we don't lose that human touch in what we're doing. Just to end my discussion in my speech, I would say that AI is not a destination. It's a catalyst that helps HR reimagine its role in building more human centric organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venkatesh.